And I now look to Baroness McGregor Smith to continue the case for the proposition.
So, dear Mr. President, I thank you for the opportunity to speak in this extraordinary place. I was born in India and I came here at age 2. My parents dreamt of a better life for them and also for me, but little did I ever believe I would be able to speak in such a place such as this. I was the first FTSE female in the UK who was Asian and naturally also female. But what's really interesting was that was 10 years ago and there hasn't been another one since. But I also speak today as the author of the McGregor Smith Review, which was a review of race in the workplace which was published earlier this year. And as someone who has lived it, not just researched and reviewed it, I can say with some authority that feminism does not take account of ethnic minorities, and therefore those individuals do face racial discrimination as well as gender discrimination. People like me have had to succeed despite our race, despite our colour, and I don't believe that that can be right. We need to leverage the feminist movement in support of BME women, and we need to do it now. So what are the facts? My review found that people from a BME background make up 1 in 8 of the working population, but only 6% of top management jobs in the UK. Ethnic minorities are 12 percentage points behind their white counterparts in terms of employment. And BME individuals are more likely to be more overqualified than underqualified than their white counterparts. These kinds of divides will be familiar to anyone who has studied women in the workplace, yet the numbers I've quoted are much more acute for BME women, and the underlying causes and solutions are different. And that is why feminism needs to change. So, for example, we're all familiar with the importance of role models. There are many women now in business who we believe are role models. Sheryl Sandberg is one of those examples. But who can name any BME senior women in business across the world? Now, we do have 1 or 2. We have PepsiCo, we have Indira Nooyi, but I can't name you many others. And I think all young women need role models that look like them, that feel like them, to really believe that they can succeed to get to the top of any industry. So what actually should we be doing? Now, just as we have aspirational targets for women on FTSE boards, I believe we should have aspirational targets for BME individuals, male and women. I think we need to have a situation where in the workplace, the top of the workplace reflects the underlying population of the country. And it certainly doesn't do that today. So my review calls for all FTSE companies to publish every year their workforce and to break it down by race and by pay band, male and also female. And if they don't publish it, I believe we'll have to legislate. There is no sign today that there is a lot of interest in publishing anything. And if boards of organisations don't publish that data, I don't believe they take this subject very seriously. But in terms of actual workplace discrimination, most companies I speak to, they know what to do and they think they know how to fix it. But we all agree that actually racism in the workplace and overt racism is illegal. But I think that we've got much more subtle forces at play. And of course I'm talking about unconscious bias. The simple idea that many people recruit and promote people that are just more like them. It's not a crime and it should not be completely criticised, but it exists everywhere. That said, if it's not addressed, BME women will definitely be stuck in limbo because the stats will never change for them. And I believe unconscious bias training needs to apply across every organisation, and we all need to do it because all of us have biases. We also need to take more risks on who we promote in business. We need to look at people who are different and celebrate their differences, and we don't do that in Britain today. Recruiters as well need to find more diverse people from different backgrounds to actually put in for jobs. They don't do that today. And we need to make sure that leaders are incentivised to drive through the change that's needed to ensure that discrimination doesn't happen for any individuals, including BME individuals today. There should be diversity targets built into performance plans I don't see that happening in the UK today. People may think that this goes too far, that maybe shareholders will say, hey, we're putting diversity above everything else. But I don't think that that's going to be the case. Because if we do have equal economic participation in the UK for BME individuals, that adds 1.3% to our GDP per annum. And I don't think that should be ignored. And I think everyone in every boardroom of every FTSE company should look at that and take it seriously. Shareholders as well of all organisations should not really hide anymore. They're responsible, as we all are, for supporting a fairer society that recognises everyone's talent. They should demand that all companies disclose data that shows boards are taking this seriously, including case studies that celebrate best practice, because some people do some extraordinary good things in this area, but it's not enough people today. Senior leaders also need to engage in reverse mentoring. I don't know how many leaders do that and actually say to all BME women, you can do what you believe you can do, and we will help you. There is none of that. That just doesn't happen in the UK workplace. And finally and aptly, we also need to address selection bias in higher and further education, and to make sure the pool of talent that employers do employ from does reflect the population as a whole. Otherwise, employers start out behind the curve, regardless of what culture they may have successfully embedded, as they simply don't have the diversity of skilled applicants to apply from. And unfortunately, you don't have to look too far to find examples that demonstrate too well that we're a long way from delivering a workplace reflective of our communities, free from discrimination for women and ethnic minorities. Many of you will have seen the recent tribulations of Fox News, currently being sued as they are for what was initially sexual discrimination, but now suddenly has been added racial discrimination. But it does show how difficult it is, particularly in certain industries and sectors, for BME women to reach the top, even in proportion to the underlying population. And I urge all BME women to call out and to tell employers when they've not been selected for roles, or encourage and simply ask the employer. It really is time to get incredibly brave. But I don't intend to let my review gather dust in the archives of Whitehall, as so many have done. And I hope that from tomorrow, whatever the makeup of the government is, whatever does happen tomorrow, I think if there's one issue that transcends every single political party, it's this one. But I think as well as seeing this through the lens of fairness and equality of opportunity, we can also address our efforts, as feminism should do, to the commercial opportunity of a diverse workplace. We have a 24 billion boost per annum to the UK economy if we can do this. And given the implications of Brexit for our role as a world leader in business and commerce, we can hardly afford to miss out on any opportunities that can really support the UK economy. Now, we've come a long way since the 1970s, when the old white boy network ran everything from politics to finance to manufacturing with mixed results. But if we are to combine fairness for our citizens and competitiveness in a global economy, we must support all BME women to achieve their aspirations, and I do not see the feminism debate doing that today. And finally, I've got a thought for all feminists. We all have an obligation, and I think every woman somewhere deep inside is a feminist, to support women, regardless of background, of race, of disability, or anything else that can hold them back. And BME women are being held back. They need to feel they're being supported by every single one of us. And I believe all women are extraordinary, every single one of them. We all need to feel the same way, and let all women feel that way. And this is right, not just only to ensure we create a fairer society, but also it's for everybody, not just the privileged few. I beg you to propose this motion.